You catch your kid holding a full press conference with their stuffed animals about the missing TV remote crisis. There are microphones, finger pointing, and one stuffed bear refusing to comment. Before you call a child psychologist, hold on, that weird behavior. It's actually a sign of genius-level emotional intelligence. Today, we're breaking down 8 weird habits kids have that secretly reveal high emotional intelligence. And trust me, habit number 8 is the strangest of all, but it might be the biggest predictor of emotional genius. Habit number 1, the tiny sports commentator. Your 5-year-old stubs their toe. Instead of just crying, they announce, "I'm really mad at that table right now. My toe hurts and I want to yell, but I'm going to take 3 breaths instead. The first breath is happening now. That was a good breath. Here comes breath number 2. It's like living with a pint-sized ESPN anchor who only covers their own emotions. And here's the thing. This isn't drama. It's brilliance. Psychologists call it affect labeling. UCLA research shows that naming feelings actually calms the brain's alarm system. Your kid is literally rewiring their brain for emotional control. Think about it. Ask the average grown-up what they're feeling and you'll get a shrug. Meanwhile, your kid is given a full play-by-play like they're narrating a nature documentary. The anger is moving through my tummy. Now it's in my arms. Now it's leaving through my fingers. Sir David Attenborough could never. And when they say, "I'm frustrated because this Lego piece won't click," they're already halfway to solving the emotional problem. The naming creates distance. The distance creates control. Most adults, they'd chuck the Lego across the room. Your kid, they're standing there like a tiny therapist running their own session. "The frustration's making me want to throw this Lego, but I know that won't help. I'm going to try turning it instead." That's emotional intelligence training. The kind most people don't develop until therapy in their 30s, if ever. Some of us are still out here in our 40s saying, "I'm fine," while silently one Wi-Fi outage away from a meltdown. Narrating emotions is next level. But wait until you hear how some kids comfort their friends. Let's just say it involves goldfish and the afterlife. Habit number 2, the weird comfort giver. Your kid sees a crying friend and says, "Don't worry, my goldfish died last year, but now he's probably friends with all the other dead goldfish. Honestly, he's having more fun than when he was stuck in our boring tank." At first you think, wow, that's dark. But it's not insensitivity. It's creative emotional problem solving. Kids who comfort others with bizarre logic are showing cognitive flexibility, the ability to reframe situations from multiple angles. They're not pulling from a script. They're inventing custom emotional solutions on the fly. Stanford research shows children who generate unusual comfort strategies develop stronger resilience and adaptability. They're learning that there's always another way to see a problem or a heartbreak. And here's the key. Comfort isn't one size fits all. Some kids hug, some kids distract. Your kid imagines an underwater fish reunion party. Different path, same goal, making someone feel better. Their strange comfort reveals something profound. They get that emotions aren't problems to be solved. They're experiences to navigate together. They're meeting people where they are, even if where they are happens to involve imaginary goldfish banquets. Fish reunion parties are strange enough, but the next habit, it turns everyday life into courtroom drama over fairness. Here's a sticko favor. Apparently 97% of viewers who watch don't subscribe. And every time someone skips it, somewhere, a toddler throws an extra tantrum that day. Save yourself. Hit subscribe. Karma works fast in parenting. Already subscribed? You deserve the remote all to yourself tonight. Habit number 3, the fairness accountant. Okay, you got to pick the TV show yesterday at 6:02 p.m., so technically, I get the remote tonight, and since your episode was 24 minutes long, mine needs to be perfectly fair. Exhausting? Absolutely. Emotionally intelligent? Even more so. Kids obsessed with fairness aren't just being difficult. They're showing advanced moral reasoning and perspective taking. They understand instinctively that everyone's needs matter. This isn't just kid logic. It's executive function on steroids. To build their fairness case, they're juggling past events, present circumstances, future implications. Research from Yale shows children with strong fairness instincts score higher on emotional intelligence years later. They're literally wiring their brains for justice, equity, and social harmony. So when your child insists tests on dividing a sandwich with the precision of a Michelin chef plating risotto, they're not being rigid. They're being principled. That same brain will grow up to build fair systems. Meanwhile, most adults can't even split a restaurant bill without someone forgetting to include the guac. Fairness debates will wear you out. But the next habit is pure comedy. Imagine a kid saying sorry to a lamp. Habit number 4, the apology expert. Who says sorry to doors? Sorry, door. I didn't mean to slam you. It's okay, Teddy. I'll fix your button. Oops. Sorry, floor lamp. I bumped into you. Your kid's out here giving heartfelt apologies to furniture, while most adults can't even apologize to actual humans they've wronged. Before you worry they've lost touch with reality, know this: they're practicing empathy in the safest way possible. Research from Berkeley shows kids who attribute feelings to objects develop stronger theory of mind. Basically, the ability to understand that people have different thoughts and feelings. And no, they're not confused. They know the couch doesn't have feelings. They're just using objects as empathy training wheels. Think about it. The door doesn't judge them. The teddy bear doesn't roll its eyes. The floor lamp doesn't give them side eye. It's safe practice. Fail-proof empathy reps. Meanwhile, grown adults are out here accidentally insulting people and pretending it didn't happen. When I said your haircut was interesting, I meant the most interesting. Super interesting. Please stop glaring at me. Your kid says, sorry, Crayon, I pressed too hard and broke you. Most adults say, sorry, not sorry. It's just how I am. See the difference? This habit shows a brain wired for connection. They're internalizing that actions, even accidents, affect others. And honestly, in a world where people ghost each other over text and think K is an acceptable response to a whole paragraph of feelings, maybe we could all learn from the kid apologizing to spilled Cheerios. Empathy is a skill, and your child just found a 24/7 gym for it. No fees, no membership card. Just them and their very forgiving, inanimate training partners. Apologies to teddy bears are adorable, but what comes next? A habit so rare, most adults pay therapists to learn about it, pausing their own meltdowns. Habit number 5, the meltdown pauser. Picture this: full tantrum mode, screaming, crying, limbs flailing like an inflatable car dealership tube man. Then suddenly, I need to go to my room for a minute. They leave, return 5 minutes later, and calmly explain what upset them. That's not just impressive. That's emotional intelligence gold. Children who can pause their own emotional storms are showing incredible prefrontal cortex development. Translation: they're literally overriding their brain's emotional alarm system. Something most adults still can't do without therapy, and this isn't suppression, it's regulation. They're not shoving feelings down, they're creating space to process them. MIT research shows kids with this self-interruption skill grow up with lower anxiety, better academics, and stronger relationships. So next time it happens, watch closely. They're not just calming down, they're consciously stepping out of the spiral. That's executive function, self-awareness, and emotional regulation working together in perfect harmony. Your child has a superpower most people spend thousands chasing. They can pause their own meltdown. Tap like now. It's basically the digital version of a very large glass of wine, minus the hangover. Pausing a meltdown is powerful. But what's coming next? Questions so oddly specific. Habit number 6, the emotional detective. Mom, when you're sad, but also kind of happy, but mostly confused, what color does that feel like in your stomach? These aren't random questions. They're emotional archaeology. Kids who ask hyper-specific questions about feelings are building something researchers call emotional granularity, the ability to distinguish between subtle emotional states. Harvard studies show this skill predicts better mental health, stronger relationships, and sharper decision-making later in life. Think about what their question requires: recognizing that mixed emotions exist, understanding that feelings show up in the body, exploring how your emotional experience might differ from theirs. Meanwhile, most adults are running on a 12-word emotional vocabulary: happy, sad, mad, stressed, repeat. Ask the average grown-up how they're feeling, and you'll get something between a shrug and fine, I guess. Your kid? They're out here building an emotional dictionary so detailed it would make a therapist jealous. They're not being annoying. They're being researchers, emotional scientists digging into what makes us tick. Asking what color sadness is might throw you off, but the next habit takes it further. Habit number 7, the emotion scientist. My angry is at a 7 right now. This feels like purple sad, not blue sad. My worry is hot today. At first you think, okay, are they describing feelings or writing Yelp reviews? But this isn't confusion. It's sophisticated emotional mapping. Kids who assign numbers, colors, or temperatures to feelings are developing metacognition. Thinking about thinking. They're not just feeling emotions. They're observing, categorizing, and analyzing them. That level of self-awareness is huge. They know emotions come in different intensities and flavors. They're building a personal emotional taxonomy. Research from the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence shows that kids who can quantify emotions regulate them better and explain them more clearly. In other words, they're creating a shared language for invisible experiences. Most adults, they max out at, I'm fine, or the classic, I'm stressed. Your kid, they're basically inventing the emotional equivalent of Google Translate. So no, your child isn't being weird. They're being innovative. They're solving one of humanity's oldest problems, how to turn messy internal chaos into something another human can actually understand. Measuring emotions in purple is wild, but the final habit is the one I teased at the start. It's the strangest of all. Kids rehearsing entire conversations alone like they're prepping for Broadway. Habit number 8, the solo rehearsal artist. You catch your kid having a full dialogue with themselves. Okay, when Sarah says that, I'll say this. But if she says that instead, then wait, let me try that again. At first you think, are they arguing with invisible people? But what you're actually watching is advanced emotional preparation. Kids who rehearse conversations are showing theory of mind, perspective taking, and emotional forecasting. They're running full-blown social simulations to get ready for real life. Basically, it's the sports commentator from habit number 1, but now they're narrating arguments with invisible classmates. Here's the wild part. This mental rehearsal activates the same brain regions as actual conversations. In other words, they're literally practicing emotional intelligence. Cambridge studies show that children who engage in self-dialogue develop stronger social skills and greater resilience. Why? Because every pretend conversation is a confidence rep. Think about what it requires. Anticipating someone else's response, adjusting their approach, considering multiple outcomes. That's complex social reasoning most adults struggle with. Meanwhile, your kid's out here treating life like rehearsal. And it works. Every solo script run is training for real connection. They're learning that relationships aren't accidents. They take thought, care, and intentionality. So these weird habits aren't flaws. They're signs of emotional genius in the making. Your kid who apologizes to doors or measures sadness in colors, they're building skills most adults never master. So instead of correcting them, celebrate them. Because the weird kid often becomes the adult who navigates life with empathy and grace. And honestly, the world could use a few more adults who apologize to doors. All right, parents, confession time. Which one of these habits have you seen at 100% volume in your own kid? Comment it below. Bonus points if it involves apologizing to furniture.